I'm going to be 100% honest here. A lot of my friends who I talk to about Bitcoin make fun of me. They don't care about it. It's heartbreaking. There is a lot of kids who I have met who are like into Bitcoin and kind of understand it, which is really nice. But like, yeah, I talked to Bitcoin, a lot of my friends. I gave a presentation at our local meetup, and I like kind of forced my friends to come and like learn about it. Um, and I think, I was talking about this with a couple people as well, is the biggest thing that I think a lot of a lot of the, millennials or older people have on Gen Zers and the next generation is that we don't quite understand the current system. And so I think it'll be a lot easier to sell people on the Bitcoin idea. Because it's like they don't know either system. They're not, blindly trusting, credit cards and debit cards and how that works. So it's a lot. Instead of having to unteach a whole system and reteach them another system, you can kind of just teach Bitcoin and how that works and kind of sell them on that idea. But yeah, they don't give me the time of day at all. And I think one day they will. I was talking about this with a friend. Like there's going to be a breaking point where they're going to have to turn to something, kind of like I did. Like McDonald's was not sustainable. Like I was so bored. Like you're gonna at some point you're gonna have to do something to make change, and so I think it'll be easier to get Gen Z on board. But definitely, as of right now, my friends coming out of high school, it's I don't think it's the time yet.
Yeah, no, and you make a good point. There's a famous phrase, and it goes something to the effect of, we all choose the type of suffering or the amount of suffering we're willing to endure. And it sounds like your experience working at McDonald's, you're like, I can't endure this type of suffering, so I'm gonna bite the bullet, do the research into Bitcoin, which is not really a lot of suffering. People say it's like 40 to 100 hours worth of, researching to kind of wrap your head around what this is, and then you're in this much better place. But with that being said, you've had a very different experience than most young adults, right? Like you had internships at Strike and Bitcoin Magazine. So how do you think we should be going about communicating how important Bitcoin is to people of your generation? Like, is there a way you think that they could understand it a little bit better, not already being kind of having a TradFi state of mind? Like, how should we be approaching that with the youth today so that they're going to be onboarded onto the system at a lot younger age, which, is only going to benefit them going forward?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's definitely possible. I think one of the biggest things, the most underrated things, is just talking about it, continuing to educate. Because at the end of the day, you're never going to be able to force something onto people. If you try and force something onto people, a reaction that you're going to get is they're going to want to do the opposite. So I think staying active, I mean, one of the biggest things is like going to local meetups. Like I have a meetup like 10 minutes away, and there's people there's like 10 new people every time. And they're like, I didn't know this existed. Like I needed this place to like learn, learn people, find people who are like me. I think it is the most underrated aspect of Bitcoin. And I think it is super important because, something that, not even Bitcoiners, that we as humans kind of lost during COVID is, the eye contact conversation, the in-person handshaking people and meeting people. And it's a little bit disheartening. I'll be with my friends and they'll come up to me. Also, complete random. Everyone makes fun. A lot of people make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you're homeschooled. You're not gonna have social skills or whatever." That's one of the biggest things I get, and it's funny how my friends will like ask me, "Oh, we order food for me. We order this for me. I don't want to talk to people or whatever it may be." And so yeah, a lot of people are like scared to talk to people and like scared to talk to somebody they don't know, which is a little bit sad. And I think that's where meetups come in terms of with Bitcoiners, because it's a place where you meet in person with real human beings and you talk about something you have in common. We have presentations here that people love learning, so the presentations attract a lot of people and attract a lot of questions, and they make for a lot of good conversation. So yeah, meetups all around are a big help in bringing a community together.
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of growing up, or your generation is growing up in this area of a lot of keyboard warriors out there that are hiding behind the screens, and you don't make those interpersonal connections. And it's hard to trust people when you're separated by a screen for a lot of reasons, all the scams and stuff out there. So there's really no replacement for that person-to-person contact. So it begs my next question, Kingston. When you're looking at the Bitcoin industry today, from the conferences to the companies, what's the one thing you think the community is getting right now about spreading the gospel of Bitcoin? And what's one thing you think that we're getting wrong right now that maybe we could be doing better?
I mean, honestly, I don't think there is a right or wrong. I think the conferences are great. Again, like I just talked about, it gets a lot of people together. And honestly, having, being at the conference, seeing the expo hall, there's a lot of people experimenting, because I don't want to call Bitcoin an experiment, but to a certain level, it is this new idea that a lot of people are getting on board with, and it is kind of a solution for our current money system, because no money system is going to be perfect, I think, but it is definitely yeah. I mean, I out of fear of having a better word, I think it's just it's kind of an experiment. We're all kind of going along. We don't really know what the next day is going to bring, and so seeing a lot of companies, with these new ideas and these new ways to utilize Bitcoin is definitely is definitely nice. It's definitely something that is, I guess, not right or wrong, because it's, we're kind of all kind of winging it a little bit. But yeah, being able to go to the conferences, see a lot of people, see what a lot of people are inventing, what people are doing, and learning what this is, what that is great.